we held on tight and we built on it. But against Syracuse, we had a bit of a mental lapse that it was critical. We tried a little bit different game plan and trying to protect our lead. We thought that we would get a few more chances to score. I mean, we only got 3 shots on goal in the second half. And for an indoor game, it's just not going to get the job done.
Now, so that's 2 games in a row against Syracuse where a similar thing has happened, where you guys have had a lead and not been able to hold on. Is that something that maybe the strategy needs to change in future games against Syracuse?
Oh, absolutely. After the first one, we should definitely learn our lesson from that one. But now being it happened twice, it's a little bit more heartbreaking. It adds insult to injury, and it's something that it's going to be in the back of our minds, and it's just going to linger around for us. If we play them, as well as we did this weekend, last weekend, this weekend at home on Saturday or on Sunday, then we have to remember what has happened the past 2 times we have played them. And if we have that lead, we need for the experienced guys such as myself and Mauricio and Joey Tavanese and Gary Bowden and these players to grab a hold of the youngsters and the more inexperienced players and the guys that came from the other league when the two leagues merged. And we got to put the team on our shoulders and be those more experienced guys and step up for these young guys and have their backs and really lead the team to that win and to that victory and not let us slip up like we have in the past. And I take responsibility as a defender, who was traded back here for a reason from Ontario. There was a reason why I came back, and that was to help this defense out. And giving up leads like that is it's not okay with me, and I know it's not okay with this team. And we're going to do our best for that not to happen again.
And the good news is you guys get another shot at Syracuse coming up right again this weekend at home this time, Sunday, 4 p.m. at the Blue Cross Arena. And then you'll have to play them again in the On Center February 22nd. And then it's looking like 2 more times in the playoffs. So I guess the good news is you get another shot right coming up here to make things right.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of this game, and especially the beauty of the indoor game and the way this division and the way this league is set up right now. I mean, they've always been a rival of ours, and it's only getting better. The rivalry is only getting more heated up as we become more of a bigger, more organized team that, we're there competing. It's sad. It hurts that, we didn't pull those 2 victories because it would have put us in a different position, but needless to say, we're going to, all goes right, and as planned, we're going to face Syracuse in the playoffs. And, like I said, that's a beautiful part of this game. We have our chance to get revenge, and hopefully, we'll be victorious. We'll be on top when it all matters, and then we'll go face Baltimore, to go on to the championship.
I was just going to ask you that. All signs kind of point to if you guys were able to beat Syracuse in the first round, you'd be playing Baltimore. Now,
yeah,
what
absolutely.
we talked to Dominic Cicluna a little bit earlier in the show because his team played great against Baltimore this past weekend. Only lost by 3 goals, single point scoring, of course. That's by far the best performance of any MASL team this year against Baltimore. What is it going to take for the Lancers to finally be able to beat Baltimore?
We're definitely have to stick to what we've been working on these past 2 games. We're putting up a decent amount of points. We're coming out flying, but as we talked about what has happened against Syracuse the past 2 games, and then how we fixed that and corrected it, and didn't give up that lead against Detroit. Baltimore is a very, very good, experienced team. A lot of those guys mostly only play indoor, with the exception of 2 or 3 of them, and they know the game like the back of their hand. Right. For us, we're going to need to come out hard and intense. And we're going to have to play the game inside the game. We're going to have to do all those small, gritty things. We're going to have to grind this one out. We're going to have to put away every chance that we get. We're going to have to slide, block shots, back up our keeper, back up everyone else on the field, in defending, help defense, work hard all over the field. Like I said, and most importantly, finish our chances and then not give up a lead if we get that lead.
And, it seems like just from watching the games, a lot of times during TV timeouts and during timeouts, you're the guy in the huddle that's kind of firing everyone up on the field. Do you see that as one of your roles out on the soccer field, is being that leader?
Yeah, it's been one of my roles, pretty much my whole career. Besides my first few years, where I was playing overseas. Obviously, it's kind of it's kind of hard to take that role on when I'm not
language
speaking
barrier.
German. Yeah, exactly. But it was the main reason why Doug brought me back here, and he said he was missing, that fiery defender, the fiery player that speaks life into the players and tries to pump them up and have a purpose for everything that we do and with meaning. And it's been a big part of my career. I do it as well outdoor. A lot of teams know me as that player that is pretty good on the ball, is a good technical player that can attack and can defend, and is going to go forward and try to score. But I pride myself on my defending and my tackling, and really trying to get this team going. And it's definitely a role that I play, and I. At times I don't mind it. At times I got to be the guy on the field that's got to be a little bit of an enforcer if I have to. And as I get older, it's a little bit more difficult. But those are things I don't mind. Whatever's going to help this team, I'll do whatever I have to do to help this team.
Well,
to get to the next level.
Especially in those games against Detroit, you may have to be the enforcer.
But it was. If we didn't have such a big lead, we might have saw something happen in that last game when we. They got a couple cheap shots in there in Ortiz, but I didn't want to break the barrier on such a good game that the team had, and we as a team have talked about things and during timeouts in the huddle, and it wasn't something that we needed to waste in a game like that.
I forgot who it was, Mark, Stephen, but there was a hockey check that was done by you guys.
It was Perez.
Okay, yeah, literally a hockey check into the ports that drew the which I didn't know was an option for the referees, but a 2+5 for excessive boarding.
Yeah,
that was quite a hit.
Yeah, I mean it's 2+5. I mean they're hard to get, but if I'm not mistaken, I think I got myself one of those against Baltimore when we played them in Rochester.
Okay.
I was doing what I had to do for the team and for our defense, and I maybe went a little bit overboard, but I did get a 2+5 as well. And they're not. It's not often that you see them, but it's I guess they call it a malicious tackle, I believe.
Yeah, excessive boarding.
Excessive boarding, malicious, something like that. So they don't come around too often, but it was. He definitely got Ortiz pretty well, and you've seen the replays. There was a couple little jabs from in there as well, and had it been a different game, and we weren't winning by 10, 15 points, whatever it was at the time, and had it been the playoffs or a game that something was on the line, things could have gone a different way. That's absolutely for sure, especially in the indoor game.
So, Stephen, I didn't know this. I learned this from your Wikipedia page. Now, of course, Wikipedia is not always 100% accurate, but you are from San Jose, Costa Rica.
No, I was born in San Jose, Costa Rica. My father works for the government, but I'm actually a dual citizen. I'm an Italian American. My father was born in Loreno, Campobasso, Italy, and moved here when he was a teenager to Baltimore. So I'm a dual citizen, Italian American, but yes, I was born in Costa Rica.
So you also don't have a Costa Rican citizenship from
no,
being born there?
No, I was just I took my Italian citizenship when I was in high school, and became an Italian citizen. Through my father, who was born there and then came here, and that's actually how I was able to play overseas my first couple of years as a pro with my Italian passport. So.
Huh. And it also says you started playing soccer at age 5 in New Delhi, India.
Yeah, we did a bit of traveling. As my father worked for the government, we spent 3 years from 1992 to 1995 in New Delhi, India, on an embassy, and we went to an international school. And I started playing for the elementary international school. They had their own team, and then there was a league throughout the international schools as well. And I started playing 4 or 5 years old in New Delhi, India, and then came back to Columbia, Maryland, and graduated high school there, and then went back overseas from there. So.
Yeah, I graduated high school in '89.
Did you, Mark?
Yeah, I did.
So what was it like? I don't know if you remember. You were pretty young, but being, this kid from America or from Italy or wherever they thought you were from, playing with all these Indian kids.
Well, I mean, the league that we played in was, more of like an international league. The school I went to was a kindergarten to 12th grade school, and everybody was from all over the place. My two best friends, one was from the Netherlands, and the other one was Belgium.
Interesting.
And they were on my team as well. So we had a pretty international team, and guys from all over the place, and we all went to school together. And it was actually a pretty neat, pretty cool experience. You have tons of different playing styles. You got the guys from Europe, you got the guys. There was even two twin brothers from Kenya that were two pretty good friends of mine as well throughout the years I was there. And so we had some guys from Africa, we had some guys from Europe, we had a couple American kids. We had a really good team. It was fun. It was definitely a great place to learn the game.
Sounds very cool. And then you, instead of playing college, you went through the DC United Academy, which was kind of seems like that's what all the MLS teams nowadays are trying to put forth, is having the youth players go through an academy and then probably move up to USL will be the next thing. But why'd you decide to do that instead of play college soccer?
Well, I had a couple opportunities, to play college ball. But at the end, when I was in 16, 11th grade, I went over to Germany and lived with my father for about 5-6 months. I played over there for a junior Bundesliga club, PSV Frankfurt. And, they were a feeder team at the Eintracht Frankfurt who played in the Bundesliga.
Oh, wow.
And, so I played with their youth system for a while. I was, 16, playing for them in 19s. And, I had a couple different opportunities to make the jump to the professional level, and, do it overseas. So I spent about, I think it was one or two seasons throughout high school, and then at the end of high school with DC United's Youth Academy. At the time, they were one of two MLS teams that had a youth academy. The Red Bulls, New York Red Bulls being the other one, and now
everyone,
almost all of them have them.
Yeah,
this was back when Super Y League was around, and
right.
All that kind of stuff. So. Yeah, I spent some time with the under-19s, DC United, and under-17s, went to national championships with both teams. And, after that, I got the chance to go back overseas to Germany and sign my first professional contract with Sport Beer in Darmstadt in 1898. They were, at the time, in the third division. Now they're in the second division in Germany. And it was probably one of the best experiences of my career, being, 18, 19 years old. And being in such a professional environment and watching the youth systems and how the things work with the first team, the second team, being at the training ground in the stadium every single day just for work, and it was a great experience. I wouldn't change my decision for anything. But yeah, I mean, I definitely don't regret it. But that's the main reason why I passed up on college and chose to go overseas, and it was definitely a great experience for myself.
Is the culture of soccer over there in Germany, is it a lot different than the United States? Is it just a lot more serious and workmanlike over there?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like every other European country. I mean, obviously you got some of the top teams in the world come from Germany: Bayern Munich, Bayern Leverkusen, Schalke 04. Some of those other teams that they play in the Champions League, and a lot of people know who they are, and and it's a lifestyle. Those guys, they play in the youth academy of Bayern Munich, or even the guys who play in the youth academy of the club I played for. They thrive on going to practice after they're done school, and they do it every single day. Some those youth teams, they train 4 or 5 days a week.
Yeah.
They play in the junior Bundesliga. Under 10s or under 15 junior Bundesliga, and they're playing against every club that's in that Bundesliga. And it's just the way they're bred, the way they train, the way they're treated. They're treated as professionals at a young age. I mean, the kids show up, they have training gear, they have locker rooms that they go to, just like a professional team would have, and they're just young kids. And that's just, it's instilled in them at a young age, and they really understand the meaning of what's going on.